Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 4 and we are going to present the fire protection. First of all, what is fire protection? Fire protection is building ability to detect, withstand, prevent, and reduce any damage caused by fire. So basically, these are the sprinklers, extinguishers, and smoke detectors, etc., which is applied on the buildings and other structures to prevent the fire. For active fire protection,
So for active fire protection, by definition, it is a group of systems that require some amount of action in order to work efficiently in the event of a fire. So under the active fire protection, we have this manual control and automatic control. And the second is the water-based system and gas-based system. So for manual control, uh, we have the typically achieved through the use of a pull station or call point, which then sounds the evacuation alarm for the relevant building or zone. So manual fire alarm activation requires human intervention as a distinct from automatic fire alarm activation such as that provided through the use of heat detectors and smoke detectors. So now in the automatic control, no, it is also any form of suppression that requires no human intervention. This can include a fire sprinkler system, a gaseous clean agent, or automatic foam suppression system. So most automatic suppression systems would be found in large commercial kitchens or other high-risk areas.
Water-based system. It is important requirement in all establishment and buildings to ensure the safety of people, property protection, and minimal business interruption. So yung water-based system is, ang purpose nito is for protection sa mga fire scenarios. So meron tayong 5 systems, ang hydrant system, wet riser system, sprinkler system, and yung for LPG tanks and foam system. So una is yung hydrant system. Hydrant system consists of a system of pipework connected directly to the water supply main to provide water to each and every hydrant outlet and is intended to provide water for the firemen to fight a fire. The water is discharged into the fire engine form which it is then pumped and spray over fire. So yung fire hydrant system ay isa sa mga emergency equipment na makikita mo madalas sa mga buildings. So yun yung mga kulay red or yellow. Ang purpose nito is para magbigay siya ng best possible source ng tubig sa lahat ng corner in case of emergency. Kasi 'di ba mga firefighters minsan kailangan nilang magantay pa ng tawag ng re-responding mga firemen. So ayan yung fire hydrants. Makakatulong din yan para makontrol niya yung fire kapag may emergency. Itong mga fire hydrant na to is nakakonect siya sa main potable water pipeline sa ilalim ng lupa. Kung saan doon ang gagaling yung tubig ng hydrant. So next is wet riser system. Wet riser system, a supply intended to distribute water to multiple levels or compartments of a building as a component of its firefighting systems. They are advantageous to the fire service in two respects. So yung water riser system, ito yung mga nakikita natin sa mall, example, or building na yung mga water valve or outlet is nakadikit sa pader. So para saan ba tong water riser system na to? For example, nagkasunog sa isang building and yung sunog is nasa higher floor, ganon. Yung valve na sinasabi ko is to maging source of water ng mga firemen. Ikakabit lang nila yung hose nila dun sa valve and yun na yung magpo-provide ng water nila. Hindi na nila kailangan pang simula ground floor, dadali nila yung hose nila paakyat. Siyempre mahirapan sila doon. So yun yung purpose ng valve. So next is automatic sprinkler system. A network of water-filled pipes which starts at your domestic water service line and ends with strategically spaced fire sprinkler heads located throughout your home. A sprinkler system activates based upon the amount of heat produced by a fire, not the amount of smoke. So yung basically, ito yung mga nasa kisame na maliliit na sprinkler. Sprinkler is heat activated na nakadetect ng enough temperature. So sabi nga, hindi smoke ang nagpapa-activate sa kanya kundi yung fire. So usually may iba't ibang temperature range ang mga sprinkler. Starts from 57 degrees centigrade to 260. Ang mga sprinkler heads ay may tinatawag din ng glass trigger. Na kapag itong glass trigger na to ay nag-pop or nabasag, doon nalalabas yung tubig sa sprinkler. So next is spray system for LPG bullets. Installed to control the burning and to provide cooling and or exposure protection to such risks where extinguishment is always not possible or even desirable. Example given, fires involving flammable fluids having flash points below 650 centigrade or 1,500 Fahrenheit. So, this kind of system is ito yung makikita sa mga hazardous areas like power plants or chemical storage facilities. Hindi mo siya makikita sa mga ordinary na commercial buildings. Tinatawag din tong deluge system. May pagkakapareho sila ng sprinkler system kasi gamit din ito is sprinkler for fire protections. Pero ito ginagamit ito sa mga malalaking tanks. Based on, may napanood akong video. So based doon, itong mga sprinklers na ito is nakapalibot doon sa malaking tank for cooling or controlling the growth or development of fire. So imagine niyo na lang na may malaking tank so tapos may mga nakapalibot sa kanyang tubo. Na yung tubo na yun is may sprinklers. So doon lalabas yung tubig para for cooling doon sa tank. So last is foam system for oil tank. Serves two purposes. First, to extinguish fire in oil tank, and the second function is to cool the tank from outside by installing closed circular pipelines around the tank and maintaining the temperature under control in case of neighboring tank fire. So itong foam system na to ay makikita lang din sa mga hazardous or high-risk areas. Halos same lang sila ng deluge system kung saan itong klaseng system na to is for tanks lang din. Kung sa deluge system ay yung nilalabas ng sprinklers is pipes. Yan tulad sa pictures. Nilalabas lang nung sa deluge system is tubig. Ito naman sa foam system, naglalabas ng water at the same time foam din. Yung water and yung foam na yun ay hindi sila yung magkasama or magkahalo agad. May, dun sa pumping station na lang, separate yung water and yung foam. May tank para sa water, may tank din para sa foam. Naghahalo lang sila pag ginamit na or pag nagkaroon na ng sunog. Kapag na-detect ng isang foam sensor na may sunog, ganyan, the foam suppression system will be released dun sa mga pipes na nakapalibot sa tank and yun na yung papatay sa apoy. So next.
Passive type or passive fire protection. As defined, system put in place within the structure of a building and requires no human interaction to do what they were intended to do. Passive fire protection, these are the structures that are intentionally put in place, or ito yung structures na habang pinaplano pa lang yung building, sinasadyang ilagay dun sa lugar na yon. And it does not need human interaction or humans in order to activate its function. Example nito is fire exits, firewalls, smoke alarms, and sprinklers. Now, there are main areas for passive fire protection. The first one is structural fire protection. It guards essential structural components such as structural steel and joint system for the effects of fire. Dito nanggagaling yung information para ma-improve yung structure and safety ng isang bahay or building. And with that information, it helps guard the structural components. Ayun nga, yung structural steel and joint system. Kasi habang pinaplano siya, ina-observe nila yung mga pwede pang ma-improve or ilagay dun sa building para maayos yung fire protection niya. The second one is compartmentation. Ang compartmentation is a division or barriers to limit the spread of fire. Ang example nito, ayan, fire barriers, firewalls, fire partitions, and smoke barriers. The third one is opening protection. Ito yung mga fireproof materials na in-install sa isang opening ng bahay para ma-maintain yung fire resistance niya at saka para maprotektahan yung bahay. Example nito yung fire doors and windows na na-test ng fire-rated glazing. Next slide. The fourth one is fire-stopping materials. Ang fire-stopping materials, these are the materials like fire-rated glazed glass, fire barriers that can limit the penetration of fires. Ito yung mga fireproof na materials para hindi agad-agad madadama yung bahay mo sa mga sunog sa paligid. The fifth one is cable coating. So, para hindi mag-cause ng another sunog, kailangan mong maglagay ng cable coating. Ito yung fire retardants na ina-apply sa wires and cables para hindi madaling madamay sa sunog. The sixth one is joint system. Joint systems include changes in direction between fire separating elements and the spaces surrounded by those elements. These are the joints or space installed between a fire-rated materials. An example of this is a wall of rated space meets the deck of the floor above, and these joints are protected with fire-stopping materials. The last one is perimeter fire barriers. Ito yung it deals with the perimeter of the floor and the exterior curtain wall. Ito yung space between the floor slab at saka yung inside face ng curtain wall system. Tapos, ina-allow nito yung smoke na mag-pass through easily para hindi magkaroon ng suffocation sa isang bahay. Yun.
Fire resistance. The fire resistance is the property of materials that prevents or retards the passage of excessive heat, hot gases, or flames. So, yung fire resistance, sa madaling salita, yun yung kakayahan ng mga building materials na ma-withstand yung heat nang hindi sila nagda-disintegrate or nagko-collapse. Yung fire resistance, pwede siyang ma-measure through fire resistance rating gamit ang time temperature curve. Yung time temperature curve na yun, mini-measure nyo yung kung gaano katagal yung oras na kayang ma-withstand ng mga building materials ang heat nang hindi nagko-cause ng disintegration. Next.
Fire protection measure are classified as either active or passive. Active it means containing the fire, or passive means containing the fire, and active is stopping the fire. So yung fire protection measure, naka-classified siya as containing and stopping the fire. The fire resistance of an element of construction is a measure of its ability to withstand the effect of fire in one or more way as follows. Next. As follows: resistance to collapse, resistance to fire protections, resistance to the transfer of excessive heat. Next. There are there are top five fire resistance building materials. First is fire resistance glass for window. To protect your house, consider installing fire resistance windows. Example, this dual panel glass window, it's add energy efficient and double the time it will take for the fire to break the window. Tempered glass, which is treated to make it about 4 times stronger than regular glass, is also effective. These dual panel glass windows, let's say that the time of the time of fire as you can see in the picture, there are two glass and in a center in the space. Let's say na may 45 minutes for the fire to penetrate the glass. Sa pinakauna, madodoble siya, which is dahil dun sa isa pang glass. At dahil dun sa center na may space, mas lalo pang papatagal dahil yung paglakad ng apoy doon. So second is wired glass. Wired glass is a type of glass into which a wire mesh is embedded during production. Wired glass has an impact resistance similar to that of normal glass, but in case of breakage, the mesh retains the pieces of glass. This product is traditionally accepted as low cost price resistance. Wire glass can have a fire rating up to 1 hour when gauged within a suitable fire rated frame. So as you can see in the PP PowerPoint, yung glass mismo, meron na siyang nakalagay doon nung ginawa pa lang, meron ng mga wire doon para ma-prevent din yung nung fire, para mapatagal din yung time ng pagpasok doon sa mismong building. So next is glass blocks. A glass blocks panels installed in a wall or floor is able to prevent the spread of flame and smoke for a period of 1 hour or longer depending on the glass used. So, yung ay may dalawa siya, which is standard and special block. Sa standard glass block, meron siyang naturally fire rating na 45 minutes. Doon naman sa special blocks, meron siyang 60 to 90 minutes para ma-prevent yung fire. Nagkakaiba sila sa materials dahil yun sa ibang blocks doon sa glass, dahil yata doon sa way of making the glass, kaya doon sila So, okay, next.
One of the most common building materials is concrete, and excellent fire-resistant material siya. Kaya siya naging fire-resistant dahil sa components niya tulad ng cement and aggregate which is non-combustible and nagpopossess siya ng slow rate of heat transfer. Dahil sa slow rate of heat transfer or conductivity, yun yung nagsisilbing fire shield sa structure, meaning hindi siya madaling tapuan ng apoy. Next. So, meron tayong 6 types of concrete materials. First is hollow block. Ito yung pinaka-common na ginagamit na concrete sa mga construction industry. It is a quarter of hollow block consists of cavities to reach the maximum load capacities. These cavities are filled with mortars obtained from light aggregates. Cavities gives better thermal insulation than solid walls. Binabawasan niya yung heat transfer sa building galing labas. Next is AAC or autoclave aerated concrete. It is a type of block mixed with bricks. The block reduces the total steel and concrete used in the structure. Mas ginagamit ito kaysa sa pure brick kasi mas mura siya, plus AAC blocks high thermal and sound insulating properties and it emits less heat in the atmosphere compared sa brick. Third is concrete brick. Ginagamit siya madalas sa hard walls. Madalas din natin siyang makikita to sa mga fence and facade kasi nagpro-provide siya ng good aesthetic and sleek look. Next po. Fourth is solid concrete block. Ginagamit ito sa mga load-bearing and non-load-bearing walls. Ginagamit din siya for constructing retaining walls, garden walls, chimney, and fireplace. Minsan, ginagamit din siya pamalit sa lintel. Itong solid concrete blocks ay ideal for foundation and basement wall. Kinagandahan nito sa Kinagandahan nito is unaffected siya sa mga termites and it provides insulation against cold and hot weather plus soundproof. Fifth is lintel block. Ginagamit naman ito sa mga beams and lintel blocks have deep groove where reinforcing bars are put along with the concrete. Nagsuserve sila as permanent formwork system for the lintel beam member. It is commonly used sa mga pintuan and window openings. Lastly is pavement block. It is commonly used sa mga paving and road shoulders. These have to be painted with high visibility concrete paint so motorists and drivers could see it right away. Natatagpuan naman siya sa mga car parks, walkway, and parks. Also, these blocks have to be rigid and firm enough to receive any car collisions. Next po.
The next one is the stucco. Stucco, a plaster that had been used for centuries for both artistic and structural purposes. Modern stucco made from cement, sand, and lime, and it served as an excellent and durable fire-resistant finished material for building. A stucco is a construction material made of aggregates, a binder in the water. Stucco is applied wet and hardens to a better than solid. It is used as a decorative coating for walls and ceiling, external building, siding, and the sculptural and artistic material in architecture. Yung stucco is ito yung nasa gilid ng mga, pag pumunta ka sa isang subdivision, makikita mo yung sa mga gilid ng mga bahay para siyang magaspang na mabato na Ganun yung stucco. Next.
Next is gypsum. Gypsum is one of the most widely used construction materials, mainly in interior design, like sa walls and ceiling designs. Gypsum is a white to gray salt mineral found in Earth's crust, composed of calcium sulfate dihydrate. It is fire resistant in nature because it stops the chances of spreading of fire, which ensure life safety. Gypsum plasterboard are also known as drywall. Drywall is panels used as a partitions and as a ceiling and wall linings. Gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, yung gypsum is ginagamit sa interior design. Ang advantages ng gypsum board sa ibang construction materials is madali silang i-install and hindi sila expensive. Also, it provides sound insulation, fire resistant, and durable and versatile. Next.
Bricks. It's not only resistant to a big bad wolves, huffing and puffing. It is also resistant to fires. So, alam nyo naman siguro yung children's tale na Three Little Pigs, di ba? Masaan yung pangatlong bahay na ginawa nila is made of bricks at hindi ito napatumba ng wolf. So, bricks is a small rectangular block typically made of fire or sun-dried clay used in building. Usually sa ngayon, bricks are made in fire kiln. Yung kiln is a type of oven that produces temperatures sufficient to complete some process such as hardening, drying, or chemical changes. Bricks are made, dried, fired, and cooled inside it. Bricks are much more fire resistant than a brick wall. A brick wall is held together with mortar, which is less effective. Yung mortar is the element that bonds bricks or element masonry units together that provides structural capacity to the wall or other structures. Ito yung cement na nilalagay para magdikit-dikit yung bricks. Typically, bricks are about 4 inches wide, 8 inches long with a variety of thickness. Larger stone or clay-based building units of the type used in foundation are usually called blocks. Lastly, bricks is commonly cited as among the best building materials for fire protection. Depending on construction and thickness of wall, a brick wall can achieve a 1 to 4 hours of fire resistant rating. Next.
Our fire resistance rating. For glass, can achieve 20 minutes to 4 hours. For concrete, 1 hour to 3 hours. For stucco, can achieve 1 hour. For gypsum, can achieve 1 to 2 hours. And for bricks, can achieve 1 to 4 hours. Next.
Requirements of a fire resistance building. So bakit nga ba may requirements ang bago magkaroon ng magtayo ng building for fire resistance? So kaya may requirements is simply to ensure the safety of the occupants of the building and to prevent or avoid the loss of property or worse, loss of life because of fire. So there are 4 requirements in fire resistance building. First is it should not disintegrate under the effect of heat. Ibig sabihin lang nun, kung gagawa ka ng building, kailangan you need to make sure na ang gagamitin mong mga materials ay yung mga fire resistance katulad ng concrete na madalas gamitin sa paggawa ng construction. Number 2, it should not expand under the heat so as to introduce unnecessary stresses in the building. May mga materials kasi na kapag na contact sa heat ay nag-expand. For example, yung mga bakal. Kapag mag-expand yun, pwede siyang mag-cause ng displacement sa mga building material and mag-cause siya ng partial or total collapsion. Number 3, the material should not catch fire easily. Sa madaling salita, it is to prevent rapid fire spread that could trap the occupants of the building and to reduce the chances of fires becoming large on the basis that large fires are more dangerous. Lastly, the fourth one is it should not lose its strength when subjected to fire. For example, kapag mas matagal kasing ma-expose ang mga materials, mas mabilis silang ma-weaken, tapos kapag ma-weaken sila, mas madaling mag-collapse, causing collapse of the building or properties. Next.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be discussing about taking precaution in building construction. As future engineers, our goal isn't just to reduce any damage to our structure, but mainly to the people inside it. It's our goal to help the society have a safer and much convenient environment. So paano nga ba ito? There are 4 precautions in building construction. First is the dimension of building components. It is important na masunod ang tamang dimension ng mga rooms sa isang ginagawang structure. Because kung nagkaroon ng sunog at mali talaga yung area ng rooms, malaki yung possibility or chance na magkaroon ng fatal injuries or death. Kaya mahalagang masunod ang requirements ng size and dimension of rooms. According to NBCP, or the National Building Code of the Philippines, sa Section 803, ang minimum size of rooms for human habitation is 6 square meters with the least dimension of 2 meters. Sa kitchen naman is 3 square meters with the least dimension of 1.50 meters. Lastly, sa bath and toilet is 1.20 square meters with the least dimension of 0.90 meters. So let's move on to the second one, which is compartmentation. So it has 2 objectives. First, prevent rapid fire spread that could trap occupants of the building through the use of resisting walls and ceiling. So as an example, so if yung bahay mo is 2-story building and nagkaroon ng sunog sa first floor, mapiprevent niya yung pag-spread ng fire kasi gumamit ka ng resisting walls and ceilings. Number 2, to reduce the chance of fire becoming large on the basis that large fires are more dangerous. So yun nga, mahalaga na magamit natin yung compartmentation kasi malaki talaga yung itutulong nito. So next is fire protection materials. So we know na high cost ang pagpapagawa ng bahay na fire resistant. Kaya pwede namang gumamit ng wood, but merong required na thickness. And that is kung gagamitin mong wood. Gagamitin mong wood as flooring, dapat meron itong tamang thickness. At kung kaya namang gumamit ng non-combustible material like concrete, steel, etc., syempre may recommended. Syempre mas recommended dahil unlike wood and concrete na hindi agad nasusunog. So lastly, exit requirements that involve the provision of sufficient exit to every building to permit safe escape in the case of fire. So according to NBCP, every building or usable portion ay dapat ay may at least one exit. And all occupancies, yung floor above the first story na may occupant load of more than 10 ay dapat bababa, ay hindi dapat bababa sa 2 exit. Each mezzanine floor used for other than storage purposes if greater in area than 185 square meter or more than 18 meters in any dimension, dapat merong at least 2 stairways to an adjacent floor. Every stories naman may occupant load na 500 to 999, dapat is magkaroon ng 3 exit. Sa story naman na mayroong occupant load na 1,000 pataas, so dapat is magkaroon ng kahit 4 exit man lang. Next.
Fire protection system. Fire extinguisher, an active fire protection device used to control small fires, often in emergency situations. Ano nga bang fire extinguisher? Hindi naman lingid sa ating kaalaman kung ano ang fire extinguisher. Madalas natin itong makita na nakalagay sa mga establishmento na nasa lugar kung saan madali itong kunin o makita para madali itong gamitin pag nagkaroon ng emergency na sunog. Next. Meron tayong 4 na klase ng fire extinguisher. Class A. Class A extinguisher will put out fires in ordinary combustibles such as wood and paper. Sa makatuwid, ito yung mga flammable solids. Ano bang example ng mga flammable solids? Yun yung mga kahoy, papel, textiles, tsaka yung mga rubber. Meron naman tayong class B na extinguisher. Are for use on flammable liquids like grease, gasoline, and oil. Marami pang example ng mga flammable liquids such as petrol, yung mga paint, tsaka yung mga kerosene. Class C, suitable for use only on electrical energized fire. Ito yung mga gumagamit ng kuryente, dun ginagamit sa mga may kuryente. Kagaya ng mga outlet, extensions, pwede rin siya sa mga electrical equipments like computers, mga printer, ganon. Class D, designed for use on flammable metals. Flammable metals, chemicals such as magnesium, lithium, or potassium. Ito yung mga makikita natin na mga extinguisher na, sa mga laboratory, ganon, or mga industry na madalas gamitin yung mga potassium na yung flammable metal. Always remember, use a portable fire extinguisher only if the fire is small. Yung maliliit lamang or for emergency lang. Our life and health ay dapat nating i-priority. Next.
So for the types of fire extinguisher, first is water fire extinguishers. This is suitable for fighting fires involving solid combustibles like wood, paper, and textiles. Electrical equipment should be avoided. This type of fire extinguisher is yung ginagamit siya sa mga small fires only, tulad sa mga establishments kapag nagkaroon ng maliit na fire, yun ang kadalasan na ginagamit na cause ng fire is na yung may apoy is yung sa wood, paper, or textiles. Yung water fire extinguisher, pwede siya magamit sa mga electrical if yung water is mixed with if the water is deionized, yun ay magagamit siya sa electrical if yun nga, nalagyan siya, if na-deionize siya. Second is the foam fire extinguisher. This is foam agent prevents reignition and can be used on electrical appliances. Yung foam fire extinguisher, sinasuffocate niya yung fire at sinisil niya yung surface ng burning object para hindi na lumaki at ano na yung fire. And ginagamit siya mostly sa mga flammable liquid fire like mga gasoline, petrol, ano pa ba yung isa? Saka yung kadalasan siya ginagamit sa kadalasan siya nakalagay sa mga gas station for small only. Tapos the third one is carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. This is designed for use on flammable liquid fires, ideal for electrical fires, as carbon dioxide is not a conductor and do not leave behind any trace. So, ginagamit siya mostly sa mga electrical places like yung mga office, yung mga server room. Tas, kaya siya ginagamit dun sa electrical cause yung carbon dioxide is malamig siya and pag nilabas siya doon sa mismong fire extinguisher, naku-cool down niya yung fire. Kaya ganun. And these are the pictures of the water foam and the carbon dioxide extinguisher. Next.
Ito pa yung other type ng fire extinguisher. ABC powder fire extinguisher means extremely versatile, not recommended for use within small rooms, homes, and office. So, ginagamit yung ABC powder fire extinguisher sa monoammonium phosphate, a dry chemical with ability to quickly put out many different times by smothering the flames. Tsaka, nagagamit din siya sa Class A fire for trash, wood, and paper, sa Class B fire for liquids and gases, and sa Class C fire for energized electrical sources. So, yung water mist fire extinguisher has a supersonic nozzle that creates a microscopic mist curtain, reducing oxygen content, safe on fire caused by electricity because it does not conduct electricity. So, ginagamit yung water mist fire extinguisher sa Class A fire lang, which involve materials such as wood, cloth, trash, and any item that leaves ash when burned. Wet chemical fire extinguisher designed specifically for use on fires involving combustible cooking media such as burning oil and fat. Yung wet chemical fire extinguisher, ginagamit siya sa Class F fire tsaka sa Class A fire. Yun nga yung katulad ng cooking fire caused by fats and oil, tas sa Class A naman yung mga solid materials. Then next, yun yung mga picture. Thank you.
Sprinkler systems, an active fire protection method that consists of a water supply system providing adequate pressure and flow rate to a water distribution piping system onto which fire sprinklers are connected. A fire sprinkler system is a simple but key active component of a building's fire protection system. Most fire sprinkler systems use water to suppress and in best case scenario to extinguish fire in buildings. So bago ako mag-proceed doon sa type ng operating system and classifications ng sprinkler system, short history muna kung paano nagsimula ang sprinkler system. The first instance of fire sprinkler ever invented was by Leonardo da Vinci in 15th century. One day, the Duke of Milan asked Leonardo to help his kitchen staff prepare an extravagant meal. Leonardo added a super oven, a conveyor belt for food, and a sprinkler system on a ceiling. The oven went too fast and the oven became too hot. all of the heat caused the sprinkler to activate. The sprinkler worked too well and drenched the kitchen, ruining the food and causing a lot of damage. In 1723, Maurice Godfrey created what is commonly referred to as the first automatic sprinkler system. Itong system na na-create ni Maurice Godfrey, gumagana siya by the use of gunpowder. When fire hit the gunpowder, it would ignite and release the plunger that sprayed extinguishing fluid. Itong unang sinasabi na automatic sprinkler system is hindi sobrang efficient. Bakit? Kasi yung ginawa niya na sprinkler system, it was a 5-gallon bucket na nakahang sa ceiling. So, hindi siya efficient kasi magsasabit ka ng 5-gallon bucket just to, provide or para lang magkaroon ka ng sprinkler system. In 1812, architect William Congreve installed a fire sprinkler system in London. So historically, yung sprinklers ginagamit lang siya sa factories and large commercial buildings. In 1852 to 1885, their sprinklers didn't have sprinkler heads and instead they were just pipes with holes drilled into them and they were not automatic sprinkler systems. So paano siya nag-work? Kasi meron yung sprinkler system noon, meron lang siyang butas sa pipes. Tapos, tubig na dumadaloy doon, meron valve sa labas ng building kung saan doon i-connect ng firefighters yung hose nila para dumaloy yung tubig doon sa buong building. Ang problema dito sa sprinkler system, by the time na dumating yung fire department, usually yung fire, nagawa niya na yung damage niya sa building. So further innovation to this system was made. The use of tar to seal the holes and then pre-filled it with water so that as the fire heated up the room, the tar will melt and release the water. Ang problem naman sa ganitong system, yung pipes minsan hindi mag-release ng water. Yung holes doon, makaklog ng kalawang, kakapuno mo ng pipes ng tubig. In 1872, the first modern automatic sprinkler system was planted by Philip W. Patt. It was improved upon by Henry Parmalee. This sprinkler system did not last very long. Frederick Grinnell improved upon most of the design, and in the year 1881, he patented his first automatic sprinkler design. In 1890, he invented the glass disc sprinkler, which is more or less the sprinkler na ginagamit natin ngayon. So ano ba yung importance, yung benefits, at saka purpose nitong sprinkler system? Bakit tayo dapat maglagay? Ano yung matutulong nito sa building? Ano yung matutulong nito doon sa occupants? Obviously, purpose ng sprinklers, gumagamit siya ng water, a good medium which protects and gives cooling to the object, preventing it from reaching its ignition point. Bakit siya mahalaga? Yung sprinkler system, isa to sa mga pinaka-useful na tools na ginagamit sa firefighting. Isa pa, mabilis yung alert dito sa sprinkler system. And it helps reduce heat and smoke damage. Significantly less smoke and heat will be generated when fire is extinguished at an early stage. Additionally, decreased insurance expenditures. Yung mga sprinkler-controlled na buildings, sinasabi na less damaging sila or hindi sila mas madaling masira kung ikukumpara dun sa mga buildings na walang sprinkler systems. And syempre, enhanced life safety. Merong dalawang types ng sprinkler operating system. Merong manual and merong automatic. For manually operated systems, from the name itself, manual, these type of spraying systems are not operated automatically. So paano to gumagana? Section control valves are opened by hand to supply water to the heads in one or more areas. So ano yung advantage and disadvantage ng manually operated? Ang advantage niya is good for occupied buildings. Bakit good siya para sa occupied buildings or yung sa may mga occupants? Upon discovering the fire, the occupants are provided a means to activate the system, meaning kahit since manual nga sila, hindi nila kailangan hintayin yung system na gumana. Kung sakali mang meron silang na-detect na sunog or kakaroon ng sunog, pwedeng sila na mag-activate ng system. Ano naman yung disadvantage niya? Kung ang advantage niya is gumagana siya sa occupied buildings, ang disadvantage niya is hindi siya gumagana kung unoccupied yung building. Isa pa, manual nga siya. Pwede siyang gamitin for malicious alarms. So, second type of sprinkler operating system is the automatically operated system. Kabaligtaran naman itong manual. It provides a network of sprinkler heads that both detect and extinguish fire throughout the protected spaces. So, paano naman ito nag-work? Ang common conception ng ibang tao sa sprinkler system, ang dinedetect nito is yung smoke. It is mali. Fire sprinklers are not triggered by smoke. They are heat activated. It is an easy mistake to make since heat is carried upward with smoke from a fire. As heat intensity increases, the sprinkler sensing elements become exposed to elevated temperatures and begin to deform. Most sprinkler heads feature a glass bulb filled with glycerin-based liquid that expands when in contact with high temperature. When the liquid expands, it shatters the glass and the sprinkler head activates. When heat hits a sprinkler head, a valve opens, discharging water onto fire and beginning the suppression action. Kagaya ng in-explain kanina, ang main component ng automatic sprinkler systems is yung glass bulb niya. Yung glass bulb niya, meron siyang liquid sa loob na heat sensitive. Itong glass bulbs na to are color-coded. Each color nagre-represent ng temperature kung saan lang siya mag-explode. So kung yung bulb na yon na-reach na yung certain heat, pwede siyang sumabog. For example, sa orange bulb, ang activation temperature niya is 135 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Sa yellow bulb, activation temperature 175 to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Depende sa color ng bulb kung ano yung kaya niyang i-hold na heat. So, pinakamataas is yung black na merong activation temperature na 650 degrees Fahrenheit. So, ano naman yung advantage and disadvantage nitong automatic? Very quick to respond. Kasi nga, automatic na siya. So, kung may na-detect man siyang smoke or heat, then na-reach yung heat, kusa na siyang bubukas. So, hindi na kailangan may maghintay na may magbubukas nun. So, ano naman disadvantage niya? The main disadvantage of these systems is that they are not suited for sub-freezing environments. For sprinkler systems, mostly gumagamit yan ng water. Pero anong klaseng water ba? Ang ginagamit sa sprinkler systems is freshwater system. Freshwater to reduce corrosion effects doon sa sprinkler system. So yung sprinkler system, meron siyang tatlong classifications. The wet pipe systems, the dry pipe sprinkler systems, and yung pre-action systems. Next slide, please. Pre-action. Pre-action fire sprinkler systems are filled with air and water. It is allowed to pass through when the smoke alarm or detector goes. This type of system requires 2 triggers to start water. It helps greatly that the pre-action fire sprinkler can be set to prevent water from spouting in case of a false alarm or mechanical failure. Ito yung advantage niya since dual action siya. Pre-action must operate and sprinkler head must fuse. This provides an added level of protection against inadvertent discharge, and for this reason, these systems are frequently employed in water-sensitive environments such as archive vaults, fine art storage rooms, rare book libraries, and computer centers. Ano naman yung disadvantage nitong system? Yung disadvantage sa kanya is potential decrease of reliability. Complex siya dahil 2 triggers yung kinakailangan niya. At yung chance na merong hindi mag-work doon sa system na yon. Kasi kung hindi niya na-meet yung isa, hindi gagana. Kasi dapat yung dalawa yung mamimit niyang trigger. Next one, wet pipe sprinkler system. A wet pipe system is one in which water is constantly maintained with the sprinkler piping. When a sprinkler activates, this water is immediately discharged onto fire. Ano naman yung advantages nito? Sa reliability, ito yung may least number ng components. Ito yung common and pinakamadaling i-install na sprinkler system. Therefore, it has the lowest number of items to malfunction. Second, short-term downtime. It requires the least amount of effort to restore, and in most instances, sprinkler protection is reinstalled by replacing the fused sprinklers and turning the supply back on. Ano naman yung disadvantage nitong wet pipe sprinkler system? The main disadvantage is that they are not suited for subheating environments. Dry pipe sprinkler system is one in which pipes are filled with pressurized air or nitrogen rather than water. This air holds a remote valve known as a dry pipe valve in a closed position. So ano naman yung advantage and disadvantages nitong dry pipe sprinkler system? Its main ability is to provide automatic protection in spaces where freezing is possible. So kung sa wet pipe sprinkler system, hindi siya pwede sa freezing environments, sa dry pipe sprinkler system, kaya niya kahit doon sa lugar na pwedeng mababa yung temperature or possible freezing. Disadvantage niya, up to 1 minute may pass from the time a sprinkler system opens until water is discharged onto the fire. So overall, ano nga ba yung cost ng installation nitong fire sprinkler system? Common myth, mahal daw magpa-install ng fire sprinklers. Well, in reality, on average, installing a standalone fire sprinkler system in a new construction home adds just 1 to 1.5% of the total building cost, according to the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition. So kung mura lang pala siya ipa-install, is it worth it? Worth it ba na magpalagay ng ganitong system sa bahay or sa isang building? Yes. It helps lower the insurance expenditures. Most importantly, it saves lives and properties. Kapag nagpalagay ba ng sprinkler system, nakaka-add ba yun ng value sa bahay or sa isang building? Again, yes. It is a very valuable feature when you sell your home or yung commercial building one day. By being ready with fire sprinkler facts, you can keep buyers focused on the assets, life safety, property protection, and increased value. So sa Philippines, as engineers, alam ba natin kung ano yung usual or ano yung common na ginagamit na sprinkler systems? And ano-ano yung mga kino-consider sa pag-i-install nito? According to the National Building Code of the Philippines, Republic Act of 1096, Chapter 12, Section 1204B, automatic sprinklers shall be provided around the perimeter of the opening and within a 600 millimeters of draft curtain. The distance between sprinkles shall not exceed 1.8 meters center to center. Therefore, ang common na ini-install sa ating houses or sa ating buildings dito sa Philippines are automatic sprinklers. So for civil engineers, ano yung kino-consider natin bago tayo mag-install nito? Lahat ng weight ng mga ini-install sa structure, kapag nagde-design tayo, dapat kino-consider. Isa na yung sprinkler system kung maglalagay tayo. Permanent na yung pwesto niya, i-consider siya as dead load. Yung dead load, paano siya nakaka-apekto sa isang structure? Nakaka-affect siya sa foundation. Since nagdadagdag siya ng bigat, mas bibigat ang dadalhin ng foundation. So isa yon sa kina-consider pag nag-design ng building na merong sprinkler system. Pangalawa, soil analysis. Since kapatong sa lupa ang structure, dadalhin ng lupa lahat ng weight ng structure at lahat ng nandun. 3. Other structural members such as beams, columns, and slab. If mas mabigat yung bubuhate ng isang building or ng bahay, kailangan ng mas malaking members. 4. Earthquake resistivity ng structure. Nakaapekto siya sa structural period, drift, base shear, etc. ng building. 4. 5. Sa plumbing, syempre, since may added pipes, need na makonsider ng master plumber or kung sino mang engineer doon yung fire sprinkler system doon sa design niya. So that is all for the fire protection system. Sana na intindihan nyo yung topic namin and kung meron mang misconceptions kayong alam, sana nalinaw namin. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to let us know. Thank you.